Karrian Kross costs Roman Reigns the Universal Championship. Update on WWE's Clash at the Castle ticket sales. WWE continues to erase Sasha Banks' online presence. WWE replacing Roman Reigns. WWE superstar attacks top dollars parents. Alexa Bliss doesn't want to be WWE Hall of Famer. Let's jump right into our first story. Update on WWE's Clash at the Castle ticket sales. WWE's Clash at the Castle will take place at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales on Saturday, September 3rd. It will be the company's first premium live event in the UK since SummerSlam 1992. Ticket sales for the show are making it out to be a success. WrestleTix recently updated that the much-anticipated show has sold 63,803 seats. As the Principality Stadium holds about 71,800 seats, only 8,000 tickets are left almost 2 weeks before the event. Clash at the Castle would be the company's second premium live event under Triple H's reign as head of creative. Roman Reigns will defend his undisputed WWE Universal Championship against Drew McIntyre. While we saw this match earlier in Roman's current title reign at Survivor Series 2020, with Drew essentially wrestling in home territory, and Roman looking vulnerable on last week's episode of SmackDown, the Tribal Chief would not be going into a match as the overwhelming favorite in a long time. In other bouts of the night, Gunther will defend his Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus in what is being called a dream match. Shayna Baszler will challenge Liv Morgan for her SmackDown Women's Championship. The company's latest faction of Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky will go up against Alexa Bliss, Asuka, and Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair, while Seth Rollins and Riddle will have a match which was first advertised for SummerSlam. As 2 weeks' worth of weekly programming still remains before the event, it is expected that more matches will be added to the card. WWE's upcoming premium live event Clash at the Castle has a lot of hype surrounding it to be the first such show in the UK in 30 years. While most matches on the night are fair even that anyone can win, early betting odds released for the event might provide spoilers for the show on September 3rd. As we get closer and closer to Clash at the Castle, these odds will change. But even the odds on the day before the show are not always 100% correct, so take this information with a pinch of salt. WWE continues to erase Sasha Banks' online presence. WWE has removed another of Sasha Banks' prominent online images from their official website. It was noted a few weeks ago that Banks had been removed from the official banner on WWE.com. She was replaced by some of the current stars as the company looks to update its website regularly. Cody Rhodes has also been added to the banner picture, which shows that WWE still has plans to push him when he's able to make his return. Banks was used as the cover picture on the roster page up until last night. She has been replaced by a picture of Liv Morgan, the reigning SmackDown Women's Champion. Recent reports suggest that Sasha Banks and Naomi are set to make their return to the company after more than 3 months away from the ring. It's a story that has become one of the most controversial of the year, since Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of a live episode of Monday Night Raw back in May. The two women left the Women's Tag Team Championships behind, and whilst they're still contracted to the company, they have refused to return. They are currently in breach of their deals. Since Vince McMahon's retirement, the company has been in talks to bring the two women back, and it appears as though this could be in the pipeline. Reports suggest that Banks and Naomi could make their return following the climax of the current Women's Tag Team Championship tournament. Do you think Sasha Banks and Naomi will be returning to the company in the near future? Have your say in the comments section below. Alexa Bliss doesn't want to be WWE Hall of Famer. Multi-time women's champion Alexa Bliss recently commented on whether she would consider herself a potential candidate for the WWE Hall of Fame. The former women's champion has had a successful career in WWE so far. She has won both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships on multiple occasions. She has won the Women's Money in the Bank and is also the second Women's Triple Crown champion. During a recent appearance on the MacMania podcast, Alexa Bliss was asked if she sees herself as a potential WWE Hall of Famer. Bliss replied that, on paper she thinks that she could 100% be in the Hall of Fame. I think on paper, yes. On paper, I could be a Hall of Famer, 100%. You know, I've been very fortunate with the opportunities I've had in WWE, especially in my first couple of years on the roster. She continued on the WWE Women's Division. On paper, our whole Women's Division technically, yes, could be Hall of Famer. The former Women's Champion is currently set to team up with Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair and Asuka against Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky at the Clash at the Castle event on September 3rd. During her WWE tenure, Bliss has successfully portrayed several characters, from the goddess to her recent supernatural gimmick with Bray Wyatt. Little Miss Bliss has always managed to evolve with time and change her gimmick to captivate the fans. During the same podcast, 5 Feet of Fury stated that she is currently working on a new version of herself, probably referring to a new gimmick, and she can't wait to show it to the WWE universe. There is a version of me that I am dying to get to. It just hasn't gotten there yet. I saw this collage of all these different characters I've been in WWE and I was like, man, I've been like 9 different people. There has been something that I've been working on for quite a while that I really want to get out there. It's all about timing. The former women's champion further stated that she feels her current character has gotten a little boring on WWE television. Alexa Bliss added that she is trying to regroup and reorganize to get to where she wants to be on the company's programming. Do you think Alexa Bliss has had a WWE Hall of Fame worthy career? Sound off in the comments section below. WWE superstar attacks Top Dolla's parents. WWE star Mace took a shot at fellow SmackDown superstar Top Dollar in a recent tweet. The Maximum Male Models engaged in a feud with Hit Row on the latest episode of SmackDown. As seen on the blue brand, the Maximum Male Models was interrupted by Hit Row, who recently made their return to WWE. This led to Max Dupree claiming that the former NXT faction wasn't good enough. Taking to Twitter, Mace responded to a tweet from user at use code AriesYT after calling Top Dollar. This led to the Maximum Male Models member taking a shot at Dolla's parents. "I don't need to lower myself because his parents can't spell," wrote Mace. Mace is currently working in a tag team alongside his Maximum Male Models stablemate Mansoor. The two men have been repacked recently and are also working closely with the former Ella Knight and Maxine Dupree, the former Sophia Cromwell. Mace and Mansoor are yet to compete in a proper match on TV as members of Maximum Male Models. However, it looks like WWE is creating a potential feud between them and Hit Row. In reaction to Mace taking a dig at Top Dollar, the WWE Universe joined in on the fun and responded with hilarious tweets. The majority of the fans came up with meme material faces of WWE superstars including John Cena, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins. During their initial run in WWE, Hit Row consisted of their current members plus Isaiah Swerve Scott, who is now known as Swerve Strickland in AEW. During their time on NXT, the group of Top Dollar, Ashanti Adnis, and B-Fab helped Scott win the NXT North American Championship. This was Hit Row's only major accomplishment before they were called up to the main roster. Unfortunately, the faction was let go by WWE just days after their call-up, but now has a chance to enjoy a proper run on the main roster under Triple H. WWE replacing Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has defeated almost every top WWE superstar on the roster since 2020. However, he has yet to cross paths with 2 possible undisputed WWE Universal Championship contenders in official matches. Karrian Kross recently emerged as a legitimate world title challenger after attacking Drew McIntyre on his return to WWE. Another promising star, Theory, is guaranteed a future world title opportunity following his Money in the Bank contract win last month. Vince Russo was WWE's head writer in the late 1990s when Raw regularly drew its highest viewing figures. Speaking on Sportskeeda's Writing with Russo show, he gave his opinion on Kross and Theory's chances of replacing Reigns as WWE's top guy. "If done the right way, Kross could replace Reigns," Russo said. "If done the right way, Austin Theory could replace Reigns. Everything goes back to reality, and they're so out of touch with reality." Kross makes his reappearance as a surprise, but yet Scarlett comes out to the stage in a cloud of smoke. Well, where's that coming from? Who's cueing the smoke? The next premium live event, Clash at the Castle, will take place in Cardiff, Wales, on September 3rd. The show is set to be the first major WWE spectacle in the United Kingdom since SummerSlam 1992. Roman Reigns will defend his undisputed WWE Universal Championship in the main event against Drew McIntyre. The long-term rivals have previously met 4 times in televised singles matches, with the Tribal Chief winning every time. Karrian Kross and Theory are not currently scheduled to compete in matches at Clash at the Castle. Who do you think is most likely to dethrone Roman Reigns? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Karrian Kross costs Roman Reigns the Universal Champion. WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry feels Karrian Kross will play a huge role in the main event match between Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle. Reigns and McIntyre have been on a warpath since it was announced that the 2 behemoths would face each other at the UK Stadium event. The 2 warriors confronted each other on SmackDown this week, leading to an all-out brawl in which McIntyre managed to level the champion with a vicious clip. On this week's episode of the Busted Open podcast, Mark Henry said that he wanted Karrian Kross in the main event picture. He suggested that it could be a triple threat match where Kross could be the deciding factor in determining who walks out of the event as the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Why not have a triple threat? In that match, I would have Karrian Kross at ringside at Clash at the Castle. I would want him to be involved over these next few weeks and even up until the pay-per-view. After it's all said and done and decided, whether he distracts Roman and causes Roman to lose or Drew McIntyre loses. But nonetheless, he is now a piece of the puzzle. Now he is involved and you booked him in a match where it decides whether or not who's going to be the champion. And you give a reason for Roman to lose and Drew McIntyre to become the champion again and finally get to defend in front of people. Doomsday hit the blue brand when Karrian Kross made his return alongside Scarlett on the August 5th episode of SmackDown. Roman Reigns was cutting a promo on his SummerSlam opponent Brock Lesnar and his upcoming adversary Drew McIntyre. The Scottish Warrior was done listening and came out to confront the Bloodline. However, before Drew could complete his promo, Karrian Kross attacked him and laid him out. He then turned his attention to Roman and indicated that time was running out for the tribal chief. Do you think Karrian Kross will intervene in the main event at Clash at the Castle? Sound off in the comments below.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you come